Good Friday evening, everyone. Welcome to Garden State Weather Premium on YouTube and Garden State WX on Twitter. Also, Garden State Weather on Facebook. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith on this very cold Friday, the 21st of January, 2022. Here at the Weather Center right now, it's partly cloudy and 19 degrees. In New Brunswick at the Rutgers University Meteorology Program, it's 21. The wind is out of the northwest at 2 and gusting up to about 9, but the wind gusts have slackened off considerably, but they're still a little high right along the coast right now at about 15 to about 15 miles per hour or so. A few spots over the interior. This is all coming down. Let's take a look at the temperatures right now. Peak West at 13, Vernon Township at 10, 8 at High Point Monument, and also at the bottom of the monument. Mannington Township at 24, and it's also a pair of 24s in Vineland, Fortescue, Seaside Heights, and Atlantic City Marina this evening. Other temperatures around the region this evening were already down to 8 at High Point, Sandyston at 10, 16 in Sussex, 11 in Vernon Township, 15 here in Walpack. It's 10 degrees in Montgomery up the Hudson Valley here. It's 16 in Danbury, Connecticut. And in the Newark area at Lyndhurst, about 20 right now. Caldwell's at 21. Harrison is at 19. Newark is at 18, excuse me. And Jersey City, we did that one. JFK 21, and LaGuardia here at 21. This evening. Right around the shore points here, 24 at Harvey Cedars, 23 here in West Cape May. Chilly night indeed, and some really chilly spots here. Mount Pocono at 10 this hour as of 6:35. Wind chills, well, they feel like they're -1 already. In Vernon Township here, 13 in Charlottesburg. Feels like 8 right now at High Point. 10 degrees at Sandyston, and you get the picture here. Winds are slackening off, but even the slightest wind under this Arctic air mass is causing these temperatures to feel much colder than they previously than what you usually would think. Minimum temperatures this morning, well, we got down to about 2 here in Vernon Township, about 6 above in Sandyston, and today's maximums not too great. Upper teens, low 20s, which is unseasonably cold by 5 or 10 degrees right now for the date. Once again, let's take a look at the latest Doppler radar. It's showing just a few spotty, probably nothing here. This is probably just all Virga on base reflectivity, but we'll check that out in the observations in just a moment. Strong high pressure at 30.50 something inches of mercury here, and it's a very strong high pressure center right over the area. Let's take a look at this. This is the latest. Hopefully this is the greatest. Not the greatest, actually. Let's see. Let's refresh this here. Okay. So this is the latest water vapor channel. Let's get to the shortwave channel. And we still have some clouds streaming up from the southwest here along that stationary boundary, and just more Arctic air coming in behind it here. Here's the next cold front here. Let's put this on so we can do some sea level pressure here. Yeah, high pressure is right over the top of us right now, and our winds are backing around to the north right now. And this is all the way down, and in here in the Virginias we do have lots of things going on. This is probably not going to show up as snow and ice on this depiction here, but I'm telling you, it is. Again, it's watches and warnings and all that in just a moment. Focused on the southeast right now, the southern mid-Atlantic coast, we've got lots of warnings here for winter weather advisories from 7 a.m. Until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning on Saturday. Lots of precipitation, locally 1 to 2 inches of snow in Mecklersburg, Brunswick, Dinwiddle, Prince George, and Charles City here. This is going to be in effect until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Slippery roadway conditions, obviously, they're not used to any of this. And of course, over in the interior areas here, we have winter storm warning, which is in effect for heavy snow Total snow of 2 to 5 inches, winds gusting to 35 miles an hour near the immediate coast for portions of southeastern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Again, stay off the roads. Down around the coast here, we have an ice storm warning. 2 areas with ice storm warnings here. Significant icing expected, periods of freezing rain, resulting in ice accumulations between 20 hundredths and 40 hundredths of an inch, locally higher amounts possible. And this is for portions of northeast South Carolina and southeast North Carolina. I'm sure if we went on Twitter today, lots of accidents all over the place, and the National Guard, I think, is in there, strongly discouraging any kind of travel. Obviously, with all of this going on. The other area of the ice storm warning here is for portions of South Carolina and southeastern North Carolina until noon on Saturday. Again, freezing rain across the region, and this freezing rain again changing to a period of sleet and snow prior to ending late tonight or early tomorrow morning. We'll get into some of the storm reports here in just a moment. Of course, right along the Jersey shore, I think these are small craft advisories until 6 p.m. on Saturday, and these are for northerly winds at 15 to 25 knots, gusting up to 30 knots, seas 4 to 7 feet. The Atlantic coastal waters from Manasquan Inlet, New Jersey to Fenwick Island, Delaware until 6 p.m. on Saturday. Of course, Texas. Well, you got hard freeze warnings in effect from 6 p.m. this evening until 9 a.m. Saturday morning. Along the bayou here, hard freeze warnings here in effect along Louisiana here from 11 p.m. this evening until 9 a.m. on Saturday. And in Mississippi, hard freeze watch, hard freeze warnings. And right along the coastlines here, the bayou areas here of Louisiana, again, freeze watch and freeze warnings are in effect. That's about all I want to cover here. Checking in North Carolina, these are all the reports from today, starting in the early morning hours. Again, most of this is snow. A lot of this is freezing rain. And basically, 1/10 of an inch, 50 hundredths of an inch of snow here in Moore. Emergency management here coming in North Carolina near Jacksonville, reporting multiple collisions and crashes due to the ice on roadways, roads, and bridges. So that's not a good thing. And, well, that's North Carolina. Now let's do South Carolina and see what happens. And again, freezing rain and sleet, numerous reports again of accidents and just craziness all going on there. Let's take a look at Virginia, VA. We have some snow there going on right now, and it's still snowing. 1/2 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, up to an inch of snow measured in James City. Coco Ross Station there. Thanks for the Coco Ross. We appreciate that. All your efforts here, and it's quite dangerous out there. Ocean effect snow today off of southern New England, especially around Massachusetts here. The box office, Boston's office here around Plymouth and Barnstable reporting 2 to 4 inches of snow throughout the area on the outer parts of Plymouth and Barnstable during this afternoon. And this is the latest from the Storm Prediction Models RAP model guidance here. Strong high pressure over New York, down through the northern mid-Atlantic. We can see somewhat of a down, what we call this a CAD signature, cold air damming here, down the spine of the Appalachians here. Here's our surface wave now that is exiting the coast off the Carolinas. This is where the greatest divergence is. This is confluence and convergence here. So this is protecting us from having this storm come up the coast here to our benchmark. In fact, it will be moving out to sea, brushing this area here, possibly with some light snow tonight or tomorrow morning. Here's the next cold front coming in. It's another Arctic front coming in. And it's just going to get cold around here again, and little break over the weekend as this air mass modifies, this storm goes out to sea, but then When this comes in, forget about it. Cold air comes back. We can see this with the surface frontogenesis here is all offshore. That's at the surface. Let's take a look at 850 millibar frontogenetic forcing. And again, this is going to show up here in this area here and off the coast. Let's see. The deep moisture convergence obviously is going to be offshore, which is showing up here. And let's see. Let's do 700 to 500 millibar frontogenesis. And again, here's our deep trough here in the east, possibly tilted trough too. It's the next one coming in behind it. Cutoff low here. Very interesting pattern, but not too much for us. Next 7-day temperatures, these are the ambient air temperatures, not the wind chill temperatures. For the next 7 days, beginning today, which is now over, and we are pretty much where we were. And the observations tomorrow, pretty much the same, getting up to around 30 or so in the city, just slightly under freezing. Sunday is going to get above freezing in a few spots, but not by much, by a degree or two here and there. Certainly not in the Hudson River Valley, certainly not in the Poconos here, and most of northwestern New Jersey barely reaching that. And then we come back down again on Monday, back into the 20s and lower 30s, maybe slightly above freezing here on the South Shore and east ends of Long Island, also southern New Jersey and the Delmarva. And then we just go up on Tuesday. It's pretty warm, comparably so, from the 30s into the low 40s across the area, and then we just crash again. We crash after the next cold front comes through, maybe some snow, we'll get to that in a minute, maybe some rain too with this pattern, and then we just go back into the chill box again, back into the 20s and 30s below freezing, and it looks like it stays that way again next Thursday as well. National temperatures this evening are in the teens and 20s. All across the eastern United States and into Canada, Hudson's Bay, all the way down into the Carolinas. This is the reason why everything is ice storm warning or snow warnings here in this area, and it's treacherous out there. And then you get further south, and it's still cold this afternoon and evening down in the Bayou area here in Texas, all the way into Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia. And then you get into the warm spots here, central and southern Florida currently this afternoon. And if we dial this back, we can see that the place to be is definitely Florida or the Baja of California. Those are the places to be if you want warm, warm weather. Dew points, very dry, bone dry actually. This is bone dry air in this area here. Very, very dry air, so it's going to make travel very difficult tonight and tomorrow in this area. We'll check airport delays in just a moment. 24-hour temperature change. Obviously, it's gotten much colder here in the southeast. It's gotten warmer here ahead of the another Arctic front coming through here. And the wind chill index. Well, there is none here in Florida, but there is in northern Florida and the Panhandle. Quite a difference from 28 degrees on the west coast here in the Panhandle of Florida down to up to 74 here or so in the Keys. This is crazy, right? Is that 74? Yeah, 74. And it's just cold just about everywhere else in the blues, the whites, and the purples. Check out the NCEP-NAM 3 kilometer to 1 kilometer reflectivity here. Starting out this afternoon with the rain, here comes the snow and the ice over North Carolina, South Carolina's interior here, up to Virginia, and even precipitation grazing the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area. Also southern New Jersey, which showing up on some of the Doppler Radar echoes right now. That might be Virga. But it does show that snow could fall here in the Chesapeake and to southern New Jersey, Delmarva area. We're going to check that out before that washes out to sea. Here comes the next push here through the Great Lakes with snow, and the storm system exiting the East Coast because of this one. And then here comes another clipper behind it. This one exits to the north, and here comes the next clipper behind it, diving into the deep trough that's over the eastern United States now. And that could bring some snow here to the Ohio River Valley area, and then eventually washes and peters out here under a confluent flow, and another one diving down across the upper Great Lakes. And this would be for Monday. And there could be some light precipitation here again in the form of snow across the Delmarva area, as well as we head into this Sunday night and Monday. But for the rest of us, nothing just yet. Latest HRR version 4 from 18Z this afternoon. Here's the snow, 2, 3, 4 inches here and inland just away from the immediate coast here of Virginia, and also North and South Carolina here, and also grazing the Chesapeake here and portions of southern Delaware with a sharp gradient between 3 inches here near the Chesapeake. And as we go through 48 hours here comes more snow downwind the lakes, lots of snow here, and into Lake Erie and Lake Ontario here, and Buffalo, and well, the Ohio River Valley area, but everything is dry here. Let's see, the other thing I wanted to look at was probably, well, we did precipitation type. Let's do winter weather. That's just snowfall. I wanted to see other things here. Hold on. Teleconnections, all models here. Again, the North Atlantic Oscillation pretty much positive right now, and heading up towards more positive as we head towards the end of the month, and then dropping down. So is there a storm signal somewhere in here that's showing up on some of the model guidance, especially the GFS? The GFS thinks something in here. So this is a storm signal in here. It's not great, but it's there. Arctic oscillation, that same kind of flavor here. Something in the stratospheric polar vortex here would change that around. EPO, again, this is all over the place. This is all over the place. And it's a powerhouse here when it's in this direction on the negative side. The PNA, well, again, this is not famous here. This doesn't look too good to me. It really looks like a fast flow pattern, and we'll get into that in just a moment. I'm not sure how much influence the MJO is going to have going forward here. We're in the circle of death right now, which means nothing is moving here from one side of the pole to the other. We're just stuck here. And the forecast into February 4th from the NCEP Global Ensemble forecast system is showing spaghetti. Yeah, it's in the circle of death now, and this forecast here from the NCEP GEFS, the global EPS system here, not good. Let's see if we can go further here into the climate forecast system. We're in the circle of death, and it still keeps it here. So that's not a really good sign here. The NCEP Global Bias Corrected Ensemble Forecast, the NCPB, again, looks like spaghetti here. And the circle of death is current here with the movement of this. Getting into here and moving back into phases 6 and 7 here, wobbling around. The ensembles from the European and the extended, again, circle of death and confusion. It's like nothing's working out in our favor here. And null Earth tonight at 10 millibars in the stratosphere. That's what it looks like. Here is a weak warming event on this side of the pole, but here is the polar vortex, and it is strong, and it's not moving anywhere. And at 70 millibars, it's being stretched, but still pretty much consolidated with 2 or 3 lobes here. And this doesn't look good. Then we get down to 250 millibars, and well, this is so east-based NAO that this is not good at all. This is like no NAO at all. It's like positive at this point. It should be back in here. This signal here should be back here somewhere, but it's not. And we've got a streaming Arctic around these vortices here on the other side of the pole as well. That's the Arctic stretch of the jet stream. Here's the polar jet in here and the subtropical jet in here, and this doesn't look too good. At 500 millibars, well, not really good. Not good at all. Here's the polar vortex off the European model guidance at 10 millibars in the stratosphere, and it's strong. And if we go through the period here, it's stretching, but still mostly consolidating back to the other side of the pole as we get into January 31st here. Again, not a good signal if you want the Arctic air to last too long. That's upstairs. 50 millibars, about same thing. Start out here, weebling and wobbling around. There's plenty of Arctic air in place, but this signal here does not look good for East Coast snowstorms. 90-hour European model guidance 500 millibar cyclonic vorticity. This is the PVA in the atmosphere. Here comes the shortwave for tonight, tomorrow morning, which is offshore. It's positively tilted, and that gets whisked away because of this shortwave here in the polar and Arctic branches here. And a cutoff low again against the desert southwest, strong high pressure off of the Pacific, and low pressure here south of the Aleutian Islands. So lots of things going on. Here comes the next cold front, the next PVA, but it's strung out again as we head into Sunday and Monday, just reinforcing a positive tilt here. There's nothing organized or phasing between either of the branches here. And it just, continually gets cold again by next week. Modifies a little bit, and then here comes the next spin ahead of this into 90 hours as we head into Tuesday morning before all of this gets here and changes this around. Let's go back to 12Z, which has up to 10 days here of data. Same thing, positively tilted trough being kicked out by this here. And then again, that gets kicked out too. And it's just cold. But cold does not portend to snow unless you have phasing. And with this kind of structure here, we're not going to see that. So it's going to be quite cold, and there's going to be a lot of snow downwind the lakes here. But not so much for us. And again, that modifies, and you can see the pattern shifting a little bit here off of the Pacific. And that upper cutoff low that was over the desert southwest, it gets washed out and involved into this large-scale trough by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And it's very disorganized. And then, you get into next week, and that lifts off the coast, and you've got this ridging here at 500 millibars. So there's going to be warm air advection going on there. And here comes the next trough, both first starting out with this shortwave here over the upper Midwest and the remnants of the low that was over the desert southwest, and they kind of combined here. So next Saturday is the question mark. because this is still positively tilted, and it is combining a closed low here at 500 millibars, and it's off of the coast of Georgia and Alabama. And this is the question mark. What do we do with this? Because the pattern is changing in the Pacific, and now we have ridging in a positive P&A fashion. It's not great, but it's definitely positive here. And that consolidates the two and phases the two jet structures here into Saturday night, Sunday morning. And now the European model guidance is seeing some kind of coastal storm that the GFS was showing a couple of times over the last 24 hours. Is this right? I don't know. But the flow is still so fast and buckled here in the Pacific. This is crazy. High pressure here, low pressure here, another disturbance here. And then, it brings something up the coast. So there is a storm signal here for next weekend. There's no question about it. The GFS is actually showing that. Also, that's the European model guidance. The GFS is actually showing the same kind of signal where the trough goes neutral to negative, and the GFS is showing it further out to sea, being whisked away by this, and this big pattern change coming after that. And then, I don't know where we're going here, because the data shows me that the GFS finally is catching on to some of the things, and the European model guidance has spectacular scores for performance, but ever since Sandy, but that doesn't mean that it's right. In this ever-evolving, convoluted conversation in meteorology, we're going to be continually monitoring the model guidance, but to be honest and truthful, it's about the teleconnections, and it's about the actual atmospheric observations that we're seeing. And it's not really so much about the models and what you want. It's about what you're going to get given the fact of the observations at hand, and the forecast of those observations going forward, upstairs in the stratosphere to downstairs at the surface. So I'm meteorologist Robert Smith. You have a pleasant Friday evening. We'll be back on Saturday. Trying to hone in on next Saturday. Seen a lot of graphics from the GFS, the European model guidance, the Canadian model guidance, you name it. But if things don't slow down in jet structures here and begin to phase and turn neutral here along the east coast of the United States, then it's going to be a wash. But I don't want to say that right now. There are storm signals out there, and I don't think the models are handling this correctly, given the flow pattern and the teleconnections at hand, but we're taking this day by day. Don't forget to subscribe. If you're watching us here on YouTube, you can subscribe at the end of every video. You can subscribe and become a member or subscription so that you have the latest data coming to you. And of course, you can always follow us on Garden State WX on Twitter and Facebook as well. I'm meteorologist Robert Smith. Have a pleasant evening and stay safe and warm out there.